Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are making traditional Haitian legume. Listen, this is my favorite dish. I love legume, white rice, and sauce pot. Anything else with it just doesn't make sense to me. And this is a meal that we usually have on a Sunday. I'm not saying it's the only day that you have it, but traditionally Haitians have legume on a Sunday. Comment down below and let me know if your family was like mine and you traditionally ate legume on Sundays and bouillon on Saturdays. Legume is a very intimidating dish. It took me a while to make it, but guys, trust me, all you need is the right guidance. Hello, that's me. So once you have the right guidance, you will definitely be able to make some delicious legume. So my legume is just with stew beef, but I find that when you make legume with meat on the bones, it just tastes so much better. And definitely when you add crabs to it. I just kept it simple today because that's all I had, and I just made the legume because I wanted to eat some legume. So we're keeping it very simple today with just beef for stew, but you can definitely add whichever meat that you want, like turkey wings, cool turkey, the neck of the turkey. You can add neck bone, whatever meat you're adding, you will clean it and season it this exact way. You can just clean everything together and season it all together. Okay, so let's get into this video. So we have exactly 1.6 pounds of beef for stew, and the way I'm going to clean this is very simple. I'm going to sprinkle about 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm using 2 beautiful limes, and I'm going to squeeze these fresh limes right over my meat. And at this point, I do have water on the stove that I'm bringing to a boil, and I like to do the salt and the lime about 5 to 10 minutes before my water is ready, so that my meat can have, like Haitians say, bon acide. Okay, you want your meat to have some bon acide, so you let it sit for a little bit. If you don't have lime, you can definitely use vinegar, white distilled vinegar, but just know that vinegar does make your meat a little tough, so you want to use it as soon as the water is ready so that it's not sitting too long in that vinegar. So now I'm just going to mix it all in, make sure the lime juice is touching all of my meat. And now my water is ready, so I'm just going to bring it right over my meat, just like so. And you let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. I say 5 to 10 minutes because I go off and do other things and then I drain it out. So at least 3 minutes, okay? If you're going to sit there and watch the meat, leave it for at least 3 minutes so that it could really saute. But I would say I usually do it 5 to 10 minutes. After that's done, you want to drain the liquid out because of course you don't need the water, you just need your meat. All right, so after I drain all of my water and my meat is in the bowl, I'm going to now marinate my meat. This is the important part because this is the part that is going to flavor your entire dish. Okay, now keep in mind, guys, you can use as much or as little season as you please. Use my video as a guide of what to use, but you alter the seasoning to your liking. We're starting off with 3 tablespoons of my Haitian épis. I will link the video to this épis above and below for you. It really is the base to almost everything that I make when I'm making Haitian food. All right, now I'm using 1 packet of my Sazon Goya. Now I don't use this particularly for the taste, but it does have a good taste. I use this for the color. It literally stains your meat and make it look so beautiful that even if you didn't want to use tomato paste, you can definitely get away by using 2 packs of Sazon Goya because it makes your meat just really nice and it gives a nice color. Now I'm going to add in 1 Maggie cube and I'm crushing it very finely as I normally do. All the ingredients that I'm using here today will be listed below for you. Then we're going in with half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of complete season, half a teaspoon of seasoned salt, 2 pinch of cloves, and half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Then we're going to mix it all in. Again, you can alter the seasoning to your liking. But on my channel, honey, we add a lot of flavor in our food. So, honey, I put that flavor in, okay? But you can definitely just use your Haitian epis. You don't even need to add all this extra stuff. Haitian epis, a little bit of salt and pepper is really all you need. But if you want that nice juicy flavor like me, then follow my instructions, okay? Or at least some of them. You don't have to add all of them, but at least as much as you have in your season cabinet, okay? So here are the vegetables that we're going to be using in our legume. We have 4 beautiful carrots here. I'm using 2 in the legume now, and then we're going to leave 2 for later. You'll see that later. We're also going to be using a branch of fresh thyme. We're going to be using bell peppers, green and red. We're going to be using chayote. I think it's called chayote. I think it's pronounced chayote, and I think this is militant in Creole. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But you guys know what it is. And then I'm going to be using half of this really nice tomato. And then I'm going to be using this eggplant. Now, you want to make sure you get an eggplant with a nice green top, because if you don't get the top like this nice color, chances are when you cut your eggplant, it's going to be filled with seeds. I'll show you what I mean when I cut this baby later. But this is what you want your top to look like, something similar. The greener, the better. We're also going to be using cabbage and 1 green papaya. Not ripe papaya, it has to be green. And papaya really adds a nice flavor to your legume. So we're starting off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil of your choice, and then you're going to use a spoon to really spread it out in the pot. And the reason why we're putting this oil is so that our meat doesn't burn, okay? You let that heat up a little bit, and then we're going to add our beautifully marinated meat and just pour that baby in. Look at that. Oh, that looks so good. So, you know me, guys. I don't leave nothing behind, okay? So I'm going to put a cup of water in there and mix it all in, get all that seasoning out. Because, honey, that's flavor, baby. I'm not leaving that for the pot. For what? I am not leaving it behind. So I'm going to make sure I rinse that bowl out with that 1 cup of water and just pour it right over my meat. Now I'm going in with 6 garlic cloves. You don't have to use that much, but I love garlic, so I always use a lot. And I'm using this garlic crusher here that I got off of Amazon. It is the best thing ever because it saves me from using my mashed pilon all the time to peel in my lye. You literally just put the garlic in and just squeeze it. If I find the link on Amazon, I'll link it below for you guys. This thing has been a lifesaver, okay? It has been a lifesaver. And I normally open it up and then remove the little pieces that's on top and drop it in. And then I'm going to add in my thyme, my half of tomato. I just sliced it up really nicely. And now I'm going to just mix everything in. At this stage, my stove is on a medium heat. Let's say your stove runs from number 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. You want to have it in between a 6 and 7. Because I'm only using beef for stew, I'm not going to go above 7 because I don't want my meat to burn. Now I'm going to cover that up and let it cook for 20 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to be cutting up my vegetables. And these carrots were so big, so that's why I sliced them so that they can cook quicker. But if it wasn't like this big, I would have just literally just cut them, okay? So now I'm going to cut my chayote, and it's like an apple when you cut it and you just take the seed out, okay? and then you slice it. Slicing your vegetables like I am doing here just really helps the vegetables to cook quicker. Now, here is our eggplant that I've already peeled, okay, with a peeler, and I'm cutting the head off. Now we are going to start slicing. This is the way I slice it. So as you can see, I chose a really nice one because there's no seeds yet. But trust me, there'll be seeds. The more you cut, the deeper you go into your cut, that's when you start to see the seeds. But if this was a bad eggplant, you would have literally seen the seed as soon as you did that first cut. So you can see that the greener the head is, the better it is. Because look how deep I'm going in and still no seeds. Voila, these are the seeds I'm talking about. So what you're going to do is just use a table knife and just lightly rub the table knife against the seed, and they remove very easily. You're not going to get everything out, but I try to get a little bit out so that it's not like a lot of seeds in my legume. You're not going to die if you eat the seeds. It's in a plant, you know what I mean? It's in the vegetable, but if you remove it, it's just nicer to remove. I always remove it. Okay, and then I'm going to continue slicing, and like I said, the deeper you go, the more seeds that you get. So you want to take a little time to just rub your table knife against these seeds, and it just easily remove them. If you grab the bad one, honey, you're going to have some work to do here. Now for the cabbage, I'm just cutting the head off, and then I'm going to peel off the first layer. I did rinse the cabbage. Okay, and then we are going to, sorry for the angle here, I didn't realize that, but now I did. Now we're going to slice our cabbage. Again, when you slice your vegetables the way that I'm doing it here, it just helps with the cooking. It helps it to cook a lot quicker. And if you know legume, you know we need our vegetables to cook to get soft in order for us to peel it. Okay? So now it's been 20 minutes, and this is what our meat looks like. I'm going to give it a really nice mix to make sure that nothing's stuck at the bottom of the pot. Then I'm going to add in 1 more cup of water. After I add my cup of water, I'm going to give it a good mix, and then I'm going to start adding my vegetables. And you can add your vegetables however you please. This is why I added the way that I added, because you want your bigger pieces to be closer to the heat so that they can cook quicker. So that's why I added like this. Then I add the cabbage that cooks down quicker on top. Now, some people cook their vegetables separately and then they add it to the legume after. They cook the meat and the vegetables separately. But I do it the way my mom do it, and I've done it both ways. And I find that this way gives more flavor to the legume. When I cook it separate, I feel like it's missing something. It's not 100%. But when you cook it all together, it really adds that flavor. And we're just using stew beef today. But if you were using like meat with bones on it, you would have got a lot more liquid in your legume. And that liquid would have added to the taste of the vegetable. Okay? So when you cook it together, it really, really gives it a nice taste. And it just takes an extra step to take it all out, to be honest. I prefer it this way. And this is the way my mom has been doing it for years, since I had understanding. And by the way, my mom was a chef. Well, she still is a chef, but my mom owned a restaurant back home in the Bahamas where we grew up. So she knows a thing or two of cooking. So if she did it this way, honey, I'm doing it this way. So after I put all my vegetable in, I'm sprinkling 1/2 teaspoon of seasoned salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper on my cabbage. And what this is doing, this extra season is just adding a little flavor to the vegetable. Okay, because the vegetable is going to run its own liquid, and I just want my vegetable to just have a little kick to it, so it's not just like water based, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to cover this and let it cook for 30 minutes. Did anybody realize that I forgot and completely forgot the papaya? Okay, listen, I could have edited this out and just made it look like I didn't forget it. But I love when things like this happen, because if you're at home and this happens, you will know what to do. Okay, so this is real life cooking and we're not editing anything out. So I completely forgot the papaya, and at this point my vegetables were already cooking for 15 minutes. So now I went back to the papaya when I remember that I didn't put it in. I peeled it off, sliced it in half, and then you have these poppy seeds that are inside the papaya. You just have to use a spoon to spoon it out, okay? After you spoon everything out, this is the way that I slice my papaya, okay? Now, being that my vegetable was already cooking for 15 minutes, I'm going to add the papaya in the pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back all the vegetable like you see me doing here, and I'm going to stick the papaya down in the pot where it's closer to the heat so it can cook quick. If it was already like 30 minutes to cooking and all your vegetables were already too soft, and then you remember that you forgot a vegetable that you didn't add, you want to, if it's too late to do what I'm doing here, what you want to do is cut off the stove completely, right? Then in a separate pot, you put some water in and you boil your vegetable until it gets soft. And after your vegetable gets soft, you want to add a little bit of seasoned salt to that water to give it flavor. And after it's done boiling and it gets soft, then you will move on to the next step. But because it wasn't too late, I was able to still add it to the pot. Okay, then I'm going to cover it back up, and I'm going to close my pot again, put that lid back on it, and let this cook for another 25 minutes. Okay, so in total my vegetable cooked for about 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, this is what we're working with. Now we're going to remove everything, okay? This is the part I said is just an extra step, and it's worth the extra step. So now we're going to remove all the vegetables and put the vegetable in one nice big bowl that you can peel it safely. So I wouldn't use a glass bowl, so just a nice bowl. And then we're going to remove the meat, set it aside, and we're going to we're going to drain the liquid and set that aside. Now, honey, it's time for your arm exercise. We're going to use that mashed pilon, and we're going to peel our legume. What we're doing here is we're mashing up all our nice soft vegetables, and that's why you definitely want to add some carrots, because carrots add to the color. Okay, it's going to give it a nice color and, of course, flavor. So you want to take your time here and really, really work those arms and mash everything up. This is what the legume is, okay? This is what it is. All these vegetables mashed together, and when they come together, they just create greatness, okay? They really create greatness. It's just, you can tell that I love, you can tell that legume is my favorite dish because it's so delicious if it's made right. So after you use your arm and you do that workout and you make sure you mash all your vegetables together, this is what it should look like, okay? Now that it looks like this, you are all done and complete. Good job. Now let's go on to the wussing process. So we're going to wussy our meat. The wussing really makes your meat taste good. What is wussing? Wussing is when you add oil and tomato paste. So we're adding 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and we're going to fry our tomato paste. The reason why we fry our tomato paste is because when you fry it, it doesn't give you that strong tomato paste taste. So you want to fry it, add a little bit of liquid, loosen it up so it really tastes good. And now what wussing is when you add your meat to that fried tomato with that oil and you let it fry for about 10 minutes. So you just kind of like saute the meat on a high heat. Okay, so you want to bring it on a high heat when you're wussing it, and that really adds flavor to your meat. Okay, so as we're loosening up our tomato paste here, you can see the difference from when I have first put it in the pot to now, and I'm using the same sauce that I drained out from the meat as my liquid here. When it's all done, when the tomato paste is completely loosened, Now I'm going to add in my meat, and this is where the wuxing process starts. So now I'm going to bring my stove up to the highest heat possible. And now I'm going to just move my meat around. You have to stand there the entire time because it's going to burn quick if you take your eyes off of it. I'm adding in fresh carrots now. That's why I left 2 carrots to the side, because I just always like to have some fresher, harder carrots in my legume. Okay, something that's not completely soft or mushed in. So now I'm wuxing it with the carrots, and that's going to add a little sweetness to it. So I'm just going to let it fry for a minute, move it around in the pot, let it fry for a minute, move it around in the pot, and I'm going to continue doing this for 10 minutes, okay? And let this really get wuxy. It's so good. The scent even changes in your kitchen when you're wuxing it. Like, it just smells so good. It really smells good. So when you're all done wuxing it, at this point you want to bring your stove back down to a medium heat. So you want to bring it down to a 6, okay? Because you don't want your legume to burn. It will be so terrible if you just did all of this hard work only to forget after the wuxing to bring your stove down and you burn the entire legume. And you know it's legume, so if something's burned, the whole thing is ruined. So you definitely want to remember to bring your stove down after you are done with the wuxing process. Now you're going to bring your mashed vegetables right to the pot and watch this baby change, okay? Watch it. So look how the vegetable looks now, right? So you add that to the pot. Now I'm going to add in my fresh vegetables. I'm adding in some sliced bell peppers, green and red, and I'm also adding some sliced onions because I like to have fresh vegetables in my legume. Now I'm going to mix it all in, okay? I'm trying to mix everything in so the vegetables can really get into that legume to cook down with the legume. So after I add in my vegetables and I mix it really well, I'm gonna let it cook for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm adding in that liquid that I had set aside, okay? You add that liquid in, you give it a good stir, and let it cook for another 10 minutes. Now, guys, after 10 minutes, look at how this legume color just completely transformed, because everything is just tying in correctly together. You got to seal the deal with the butter. That's why we use less oil and more butter. Okay, I was very generous on the butter. That was at least 4 tablespoons of butter. And I just honestly like to use butter because butter gives you good, nice flavor. Like, I don't know why some Haitians like to use a lot of oil in the food. Like, when you go to a Haitian restaurant and you buy legumes sometimes, by the time you get home, all of that oil is already drained in the plastic bag. And it's like, dang, did y'all just put the whole gallon of oil in the legume? You know? It's just crazy the amount of oil some Haitians use. But honey, we don't use a lot of oil, but we definitely use butter, okay? We always seal the deal with the butter. So after you add the butter, you give it a very nice mix. And the reason why you're mixing it is because you want to make sure that nothing's stuck at the bottom of the pot. And now I'm just going to let this cook for 15 to 20 extra minutes. Now at this point, all of the tastes are just going to melt together and just create amazing greatness, okay? Everything's going to tie in perfectly and just come together so well and just give you the most amazing Haitian dish ever created, okay? It's really that good. I just love myself some legume. So guys, this is how I do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I told you guys, it seems intimidating, but once you have the right guidance and you know the steps, you can make this dish whatever you want it to be, okay? You can add whatever meat you want to add. You can switch it up. You can do whatever you please, okay? Like I said, use my videos as guidance, but you do as you please. Thank you for kicking it here in the kitchen with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you did, definitely give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, definitely hit that subscribe button, because I would love to have you a part of my family here on YouTube. I have a lot of great recipes that I've already shared with you guys, and so many more to come. So you definitely want to subscribe, because I am not currently uploading on a schedule. So you definitely want to have that bell notification on, so you know whenever I drop the next video. Bon appetit, you guys, and parfait chiche, okay? Parfait chiche. Come back and let us know in the comment how it worked out for you, if it did. What meat did you use? What meat do you normally use? How do you like your legume? Do you do something different than what I do here? Definitely let us know. I love hearing from you guys, and the comment not only helped me, but it definitely helped other viewers, guys. Thank you again so much for each and every one of you that take the time to watch my videos. And yeah, I know I've been yapping a lot, so it's time to sign off. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.